up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Trust Your Board podcast. My name's Stephen Wright. I'm joined by our good friend, Mr. William Monroe. Got another mini mock episode for you today. Will, what are we doing?
Today, Steve, we are doing a unique one. We've got a PPR 12-team 2 tight end, a mini mock draft here. So we just see how this one works. I think it's the first time for both of us. We have you drafting out of the 5 spot and me drafting out of the 10 spot.
Yeah, we'll see if the ADPs recognize a change. Not sure,
Yeah,
but we'll talk. One. Yeah, we'll talk through it regardless. You ready to get going?
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool. So off the board, we had Christian McCaffrey first, Saquon Barkley, Michael Thomas, and Alvin Kamara. Makes my decision very easy. This is probably the easiest time I've had in the 105 spot. We've done a few mocks where I've landed up here recently, but it's good to be Zeke Elliott. He is easily a third for me. I have no problem, as Will has said in the past, with drafting him with the 101 or the 102. So I will go ahead and lock him in. Say no more. Easy decision there. So the pick is in. I have locked in Zeke. We have Clyde Edwards-Helaire going at the 106, Dalvin Cook, Devontae Adams, and then Derrick Henry going off the board.
All right, so we still got all our quarterbacks, all of our tight ends per usual. Still got Julio Jones, Tyreek Hill, DeAndre Hopkins, Godwin, so quite a few receivers on the board there. I think first we'll strike at running back to make sure we get one of them here, and then see what happens in the next 4 picks to determine if we're going to go 2 running backs, wide receivers. So we got Mixon, Drake, Eckler, Sanders, Chubb, and Aaron Jones. So it's interesting. You see the Eckler definitely jump up a good bit there with the PPR. I'm going to go with someone that I've gotten before. I don't know that I've taken them here in the first round in a while, but PPR, devalues a couple of other guys. But I don't know that we talk about it, really bumping up this guy too much. But the offense is going to be pretty explosive. And it's Kenyon Drake. Offense is really explosive, so I don't think he gets negatively affected by PPR. I don't know if he gets the boost that we talk about with Eckler, maybe even a Miles Sanders. I think he's kind of in that Joe Mixon range where, it's just as good for him, maybe a little bit better, but crazy for some other guys. But want to make sure we get a running back here because anticipating maybe some of these guys behind me will go 1 or even 2. So we'll go with Kenyon Drake there. After that goes Miles Sanders, Joe Mixon, Julio Jones, and DeAndre Hopkins. So if we're looking back here, we've still got Austin Eckler on the board, Nick Chubb, Aaron Jones, Josh Jacobs. At wide receiver, we've got Tyreek Hill, Chris Godwin, Allen Robinson, Kenny Galladay. So it's really a two-man choice for me here. We've got Tyreek Hill, and we've got Austin Eckler. Maybe consider tight end. I don't really know how how this really works in a 2 tight end league, and I don't know how early we take them. Possibly, it's an option here, but I'm gonna continue to just go with the value that we know here. Go with Austin Eckler. This is really where he gets the big boost here. So lock in 2 running backs. I think we're really going to benefit from the PPR scoring format, and we'll see what happens there in the next round. So Austin Eckler off the board. After him, Tyreek Hill, Josh Jacobs, Nick Chubb, and Travis Kelce.
Yeah, so an interesting spot to be in. Kittle's definitely in play. I think what we'll see here, typically in your tight end premium kind of league, you see Kelce and Kittle and Andrews, they all get a bump. Your premier guys get a bump, but it doesn't really do a lot for your lower tiers. In a 2 tight end, what I would expect to see is probably Kelce and Kittle maybe get a little bit of a bump, but largely probably the same. But it's really going to impact your lower guys, your Blake Jarwins, your Herndons, because everybody's drafting 2. They're getting them a little bit earlier. So that's what I would expect. For me, I will go ahead and pass on Kittle. I could probably wait a little bit and get a middle round guy here. But at the running back position, we got Aaron Jones, Todd Gurley, Leonard Fournette, Chris Carson. At the wide receiver position, Chris Godwin, Allen Robinson, Kenny Galladay, and Juju Smith-Schuster. I will break the mold that I have been finding myself in lately. I'll go 2 running back here instead of going back and forth, even though no one really fell to me. Chubb going 2 picks before me would have been awesome to get here, but He didn't. What can you do? So I will go ahead and draft Aaron Jones. I'm a little bit more comfortable with him than a Todd Gurley. Not a ton, but a little bit. So we'll go ahead, we'll lock him in there, and we'll see what gets back to me. Maybe we'll be looking at tight end. Who knows? So Lamar Jackson, Chris Godwin, Cooper Kupp, Juju Smith-Schuster, George Kittle, Pat Mahomes, Zach Ertz, and Leonard Fournette start off the third. So definitely seeing the ADP impact with Zach Ertz going that early. So with that in mind, I will go ahead and I will strike at the tight end position first because Mark Andrews is here. And Mark Andrews is my third, so it makes him a little bit of a value here coming in after Ertz. So we'll lock him in, get at least one tight end off the board. My typical strategy is probably just going to be to wait. Grab Goddard later, Jonnu, Doyle, Jarwin, Herndon, someone like that. I don't need two premier tight ends. So we'll go ahead and lock him in. See what gets back to me here. We got Kenny Golladay, Mike Evans, Adam Thielen, and Todd Gurley before your pick.
Right. So this is probably the difficult thing here because you probably want to get one of those top four. And then, like you said, you do the late tight end for the other one. I don't know that there's really a huge incentive to grab one of them. Waller, Ingram. I'm not thrilled with, I probably want maybe Hunter Henry, Higbee, Hayden Hurst. So nobody enough to strike here. Maybe look to see what's there in the fifth round or really just see what the ADP does. So not looking at the quarterback position either with the top two up the board. We're going to be looking at running back, receiver. So we've got two running backs with Eckler and Kenyon Drake. Running back position, we've got Chris Carson, Melvin, Lev Bell, James Conner, David Johnson. That kind of next tier. I don't feel the need to go in that position, so I think we're going to go receiver. We've got Allen Robinson, DJ Moore, Mark Cooper, Beckham, Robert Woods. So, maybe a little strategy here, right? Because the teams behind me each went 1-1. Usually like to pair, an upside guy with a safer guy. So we've got, Allen Robinson. We've got Robert Woods as some safer options. DJ Moore probably fits into both of these, more on the safer side. But then we've got Odell Beckham and we've got Amari Cooper as well. I don't know that these teams would really focus on that, but they've got Hopkins, they've got Julio, team behind me. So maybe they look to go upside a little more. It's interesting. I think I'm just going to go with a guy I think is just kind of a slight tier ahead there. And Allen Robinson, I know one of our last mock drafts, we went with DJ Moore. Switch it up here. We'll go with Allen Robinson and then look to maybe strike at an Amari Odell Beckham next round to get a little bit of an upside shot. After Robinson goes DJ Moore, Beckham, Chris Carson, and Lev Bell. Back to me. So as I mentioned, looking for an upside guy. We've got Amari Cooper still there, so probably going to be the pick. We'll pair him with the presumed safety, at least in the target share. Who knows? Quarterback situation there. Allen Robinson, but we'll go with Amari Cooper here next. Not too much to really think about. Not looking at the tight end position. After that, A.J. Brown, James Conner, Robert Woods, and David Johnson.
Awesome. So we'll go ahead and run down the positions here. At the quarterback position, Dak Prescott, Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, Deshaun Watson. At running back, Melvin Gordon, Jonathan Taylor, Mark Ingram, David Montgomery. At wide receiver, Calvin Ridley, Keenan Allen, Tyler Lockett, DJ Chark. And at tight end, Darren Waller, Evan Ingram, Tyler Higbee, and Hunter Henry. I will finally turn my attention to the wide receiver position. And given that I've waited to the fourth round to get my first one, I do want a relative amount of safety with my first pick. So I'm going to go ahead and lock in a guy that I think is the safest on the board, and that's going to be Tyler Lockett. You could definitely make a strong case for Keenan Allen as well. But the overall offense is weighing on me here, and I like Seattle, as many people do, more than the Chargers this year. So I'm going to go ahead and lock in Tyler Lockett. We'll see what gets back to me here. I'm going to feel bad not grabbing another running back, but I also feel like I could miss out on the wide receiver tier if I wait again. So we'll see. That's kind of what happens when you go early tight end. I have Calvin Ridley, David Montgomery, Cortland Sutton, and Terry McLaurin go off the board. That rounds out the fourth. To start the fifth, Devin Singletary, Melvin Gordon, Evan Ingram, and DK Metcalf. So at the wide receiver position, Keenan Allen again, DJ Chark, Devontae Parker, and T.Y. Hilton. At the running back position, we have Jonathan Taylor, Mark Ingram, Kareem Hunt, DeAndre Swift. So this is a big decision here, as a lot of people end up in the fifth spot. If I go with a wide receiver, then the running backs that I'm looking at by the time I come back around is likely going to be Mostert, James White, Tariq Cohen, Ronald Jones, that kind of tier. Comfortable with Mostert, somewhat comfortable with Ronald Jones as well, so I'm okay doing that. If you go on the flip side, if you go with a running back here, say we grab Jonathan Taylor, the tier you're going to be looking at is going to be the Diggs, Boyd, Landry, AJ Green, Julian Edelman tier, which is a tier that I have mentioned multiple times I'm not the biggest fan of. So I will go ahead. We're not going to get to the sixth round, but I will go ahead and grab an upside shot of DJ Chark here. Big fan of his this year. I think he pairs well with the safety of Tyler Lockett. And then, come the sixth round, I'm sure there'll be a running back there like a Mostert that I can grab that I will be happy with. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to lock him in here to take care of my part of the draft. We have Keenan Allen, Kyler Murray, Darren Waller, and Tyler Higbee go off the board before Will's pick here.
All right, so last pick. Still got a lot of quarterbacks left. I'm guessing with two tight end league, probably pushes quarterbacks down even further. You're reaching on them instead of quarterbacks. So we've got really everyone but our top two, I guess Kyler won as well. So 3 there. Top running backs, we've got JT, Mark Ingram, Kareem Hunt, DeAndre Swift, Cam Akers. So a lot of the rookies available there. At the receiver position, Parker, Hilton, Diggs, Boyd, Landry. And then at tight end, we've got Hunter Henry, Hayden Hurst, Cook, Hooper, Gesicki. I think the strategy for here is probably you try to get one of those tight ends. And if you don't, you probably maybe double up with 2 middle round guys as to waiting on the late guy. So we'll strike first here, and we'll go with Hunter Henry to get one. And then if Hayden Hurst is still there, he may be a guy that I swing back and grab in the next round to lock in both of those tight ends. It seems like there's value falling in other positions, so you may be able to get some other ones. And we've already got 2 receivers, 2 running backs, so feeling pretty good there. So we'll lock in Hunter Henry here. And then to round out the draft, we had 2 quarterbacks go, Russell Wilson and Dak Prescott.
Awesome. So let's go take care of the mock. Let's go ahead and run down our teams. At the running back position, I have Zeke Elliott, Aaron Jones. At wide receiver, Tyler Lockett and DJ Chark. And I do have a tight end on the roster, Mark Andrews. It's not a bad team. It's the same feeling I get every time I draft a tight end early, if like I want another wide receiver, but it's not bad. I wish I had a different running back than Aaron Jones, but what can you do? This was what was handed to me. So Zeke and Aaron Jones is not bad. It's not Aaron Jones doesn't have the upside I don't think that I want, but it's still solid. Tyler Lockett and DJ Chark, I'm plenty satisfied with. That's a solid pairing for me. And Mark Andrews gives me one of 2 tight ends that I need. Realistically, really, you need to draft 3 tight ends to help cover bye weeks. So overall, it's not a bad start. We'll probably be looking to grab a tight end here again in the next 3 rounds or so, and grab a late one. But overall, it's not a bad start to the team. How about yours?
All right, so we've got Kenyon Drake, Austin Eckler, Allen Robinson, Amari Cooper, Hunter Henry. And I think I like it overall. Strategy is pretty good. I almost wonder if I would have mixed it, right, and did OBJ in the third and then swung back with maybe Allen Robinson or maybe like a Robert Woods. I'm not sure which of the 2 I like better. What do you think? Allen Robinson and Amari Cooper, or OBJ and Robert?
Oof. Man, you're playing off my personality problem of like, am I going to be a gambler today or not? I think I would go Robert Woods, DJ Moore.
No, so I said OBJ, Robert Woods, and then Allen Robinson, Amari Cooper.
Oh,
so
sorry.
Looking at like Cooper, OBJ as the gamble, and then Robinson, Woods as like the safety, at least volume.
Yeah, misheard there. Sorry. So I would then take the OBJ side pretty easily. I don't know what it is about Allen Robinson, but I don't draft him anywhere. It doesn't make. I mean, maybe it comes down to last year. Like he had the 4 blow up games, but it was like right before, right after that, he had like 3 games where he was like worthless for you, and that kind of stuff concerns me.
Yeah.
Overall, he's really good. He's obviously an amazing talent, and I think Nick Foles would help him if he ends up being the starter. There's just something about him. I just don't draft him. So yeah, give me the OBJ side.
Yeah, I think I'm probably there with you as well. Looking back, I think this might be the first time that I've taken Allen Robinson in a mock. So pretty interesting. But yeah, I mean, I guess we'll have to wait and see how the season works out. But overall, I like it. Got to reach on tight end the way this works. So we're thinking. So we'll have to wait and see how that would look. But yeah, I think overall, I like the team.
Awesome. Well, that's going to wrap up today's episode. Tune in tomorrow for a full mock draft with a special guest. Until then, trust your board.